A packed room and a standing ovation tonight after the MSCS School Board voted to make Interim Superintendent Dr. Roderick Richmond's contract permanent. Action News 5's Caitlin Miller was at the meeting tonight. Caitlin, tell us how things played out.
Yeah, Joy, you know, the room was full tonight, like you said, at this MSCS meeting where the focus was on Dr. Richmond's superintendent contract. And though there were some questions about why this decision was being made now when the state's findings are going to be revealed tomorrow, Dr. Richmond did end up still receiving that unanimous vote to become the district's permanent leader.
Dr. Roderick Richmond has a permanent contract as the superintendent.
The meeting began with many people speaking on Dr. Richmond's behalf, highlighting his dedication to MSCS students, their achievements, athletics, and the arts. There were some questions from school board members like Tamarcus Porter about why there was urgency to get this contract done now. Other board members like Tawana Murphy said the data, some of which won't be available until later this year, should be guiding decisions like this one, and that she believed it was, quote, preposterous to make this call just hours before the audit's findings were revealed. They then moved to their vote, which unanimously supported the decision to make Dr. Richmond's contract permanent.
So I'm excited. We're here now. I'm the permanent superintendent, and it's time for us to continue the work and the continuity that we've started.
The board also voted to approve their framework for collaborative audit remediation and operational excellence, which board members say holds both them and Superintendent Richmond accountable as they prepare to hear the state's audit findings. That framework will require the superintendent to come up with a corrective action plan that identifies 3 to 5 priority issues listed in the audit. Dr. Richmond says that he is excited to continue his work he's been doing for the school board and that he's ready for this feedback as he enters this new permanent position. Here at MSCS, Caitlin Miller, Action News 5.
All right, and Action News 5 is making the trip up to Nashville to hear the results of that audit as they are announced. Our Amadi Williams will be at the state capitol, and she'll bring you the findings as well as what this could mean for the future of Memphis-Shelby County Schools.